Xiao Yan's figure slowly hovered over this continent, squinting his eyes at the burst of light in front of him. His eyes that had been calm for many years suddenly became fiery, and he murmured, "These decades of cultivation almost made me forget the feeling of fighting." Xiao Yan suddenly felt something. His eyes opened suddenly, staring at the beam of light in front of him, his eyes full of surprise. And just when this beam of light exploded, the strong from all sides also came one after another. But in a short while, this space gathered countless new generations of strong people. At that time, the two Medicine Clan members rescued by Xiao Yin on the void-swallowing Yin had already resumed their bloodline. The ancient clan had also given birth to a new generation of strong men. The two of Guli and Gu Mei were the representatives of the ancient clan. They reached the strength of Dozong at a young age. Taishu Gulong is naturally not backward. With such momentum, I am afraid that in the future, this world will give birth to more exciting legends. Gu Yuan and Zhukuan hung in the air close to Xiao Yan's side, looking at the beam of light nonstop, and asked in a low voice, "Is this a passage to another continent?" The strong men standing around turned their heads when they heard the words. Xiao Yan frowned slightly, and then nodded. At this time, people standing within 1,000 miles of the Pillar of Light felt that there was a strange energy in the Pillar of Light sucking the vindictiveness in their bodies. Gu Yuan and Zhukuan's expressions changed slightly, and they hurriedly used their vindictive energy to protect their figures, and then backed away again and again, their eyes full of surprise. Only Xiao Yan remained motionless, still leaning up to watch so close. "This is the source of the Emperor's qi?" Xiao Yan was startled fiercely. A strong feeling rose from his heart. His palms desperately grasped out in the beam of light. One after another, Gu Yuan, Zhukuan, and even several powerful people looked at Xiao Yan like this. Knowing the importance of this thing, they all collected the source of the Emperor that Xiao Yan had caught one after another. Suddenly, there was a little source of the Emperor on the vindictive continent. With the source of the Emperor's qi, they will be able to advance to the fighting Emperor. At such a distance, Gu Yuan's Hecken was under extremely strong pressure. This pressure came from this pillar of light. This rich source of Emperor qi was not something that Gu Yuan's Hecken, who was not a strong fighting emperor, could withstand. Even Xiao Yan's body trembled slightly. After grabbing a lot of the Emperor's source of qi, Xiao Yan turned around, put his arms around Sun'er's slender waist and buried his shoulders, and said softly, "Don't worry about me. You can take good care of your children. Sun'er, wait for me to come back." Sun'er's delicate body shook slightly. Xiao Yan was leaving, and she was going to an unknown world. How could she be willing and not worry? But she knew that Xiao Yan was not only her man, but also the strongest man in this continent, always pursuing the supreme realm. So she had to reluctantly say softly, "It's not like a vindictive continent outside. Be less brave and take care of yourself." Xiao Yan smiled, nodded, and responded. At this time, an angry voice sounded in his ear. Sun'er allowed me, but did not allow it. A shadow appeared in the sky, and Xingguang came to Xiao Yan's side with a shock, and it was Kai Lin. Xiao Yan was startled at first, then smiled at Kai Lin. He didn't know how to express his feelings. He had no choice but to ask Sun'er for help, and looked at Sun'er with pitiful eyes. Seeing Xiao Yan's pitiful expression, Sun'er couldn't help but chuckle. But before Sun'er could speak, Kai Lin said angrily, "Don't let Sun'er persuade me. It's useless. Anyway, I can't let you leave so easily. Such a big family, and so many children let me and Sun'er take care of it. You think well." A group of people around looked at the couple and could only laugh dryly. Xiao Yan was also helpless. Sun'er hurriedly leaned over and smiled at Kai Lin. "Sister Kai Lin, Brother Xiao Yan is a big man after all. If you like to fight, just let him go, or I will take the children in the future." When Kai Lin heard this, she glanced at Sun'er, then at Xiao Yan's pleading look, and waved her hand helplessly. Okay, you'd better come back to me intact. If you lose a head, I'll skin you. I don't want the child to have no father. Otherwise, it depends on how I clean you up. Xiao Yan's expression was a little wooden. Why did Kai Lin's words sound a little oozing? He quickly handed over his hand and said with a smile, "Thank you, wife. Don't worry. I will come back intact." Immediately, with a wave of his hand, several balls of light appeared in front of Xiao Yan. This is the source of the Emperor's Qi. With it, you can break through to the fighting Emperor. Wait for you to use it on the day of the breakthrough. As he said, he waved his hand and shot several balls of light at Kai Lin. Suner, Gu Yuan, Zhukuan, etc. Seniors, after I leave, I hope you will help take care of the Xiao clan. Xiao Yan is here to thank you all. Xiao Yan bowed his hand to the strong men who came to see him off. He was leaving. The only thing he was worried about was the Xiao clan. Nothing could go wrong. Nowadays, Xiao Yan is full of children and grandchildren. There is a big Xiao clan. After Xiao Yan was promoted to the fighting emperor, due to the activation of the power of the bloodline, all of Xiao Yan's close relatives have received the benefits of the power of the bloodline, and their strength has been improved as easily as pushing a boat along the water. In just a few years, the Xiao clan has become one of several major families with an amazing degree of expansion. Of course, Xiao Yan, the Emperor of Yan, is indispensable. Don't worry, with the old man here. What will happen to the Xiao clan? Gu Yuan raised his head and smiled, looking at the young man in black in the distance. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. In just a few decades, an ignorant young man suddenly grew up to be the pinnacle of existence on this continent. It's really enviable. And me, don't worry. Xiao Yan, leave it to us here, and the ancient head and I will break through the duty as soon as possible. And then I will go to you. Zhang Kuan patted his chest and said, now that they have the source of the emperor, it is only a matter of time before they are promoted to the fighting emperor. Okay, Xiao Yan will definitely come to greet you when the time comes. Xiao Yan thanked him with his hand, and he felt a lot relieved for the Xiao clan. Daddy, with a soft call, a shadow rushed into Xiao Yan's arms. Not someone else, but Xiao Xiao. Now that Xiao Xiao is 11 or 12 years old. She looks like her mother, with a naturally charming face. I am afraid that ordinary people really can't stand her. After all these years of growth, Xiao Xiao's strength did make the old guys bleed. Xiao Xiao's body had the blood of his mother's 9-color swallowing heaven, and Xiao Yan's fighting emperor blood. His strength exploded to the 9-star fighting saint. With Xiao Xiao's growth, I am afraid that Kai Lin's strength will not be as good in the future. Xiao Yan stroked Xiao Xiao's head coquettishly and said with a smile, Xiao Xiao, Dad will be back when he goes. You have to keep an eye on the Xiao clan for Dad. Xiao Yan hugged Xiao Xiao away and pinched Xiao Xiao's nose. Xiao Xiao immediately became serious and said seriously like an adult, yes, no problem, don't worry. Dad, you see that the ancestor is also here. After speaking, he pointed behind Xiao Yan. Teacher, Xiao Yan turned his head, and an old figure greeted Xiao Yan's dark eyes. Xiao Yan suddenly became excited. He was an ignorant young man in Yuten City. It was under the protection of this old figure that he was able to thrive. Without him, Xiao Yan might be worthless, and even his soul would have disappeared long ago. Where else could he have achieved today? Yao Lao smiled with relief, recalling that the young man who still needed his own protection had now grown into the overlord of the vindictive continent. And he was really emotional. Be more careful yourself. Now the teacher can't help you anymore. After you go out and break out of the hall, let the teacher go with you to see it. Lao Yaoha said with a smile. Xiao Yan smiled. The teacher is still the same as before. Xiao Yan waved his hand, shot a few pills and light clusters at Yao Lao, and slowly said, the disciples follow the teachings of the master. Teacher, this is the disciples' filial piety to you. I wish the teacher an early promotion to the duty. This is the 9-pin golden pill that Xiao Yan has specially prepared for the old medicine over the years, as well as the source of the emperor's qi that he has just obtained. Yao Lao looked at the item in his hand. A wave of fluctuation flashed in his eyes. Zhu Kuang Yuan looked at the few golden pills in the hands of the old medicine man and couldn't help but be a little envious. These 9 golden pills are probably unmatched by no one on the vindictive continent, because they are always refined by the powerful fighting emperor. It is not comparable to ordinary golden pills. Okay, go ahead and be more careful yourself. Old medicine nodded. Xiao Yin will never forget the teacher's kindness to his disciples. Please be worshipped by his disciples. Xiao Yin knelt down suddenly, and there was a sound of moving the ground, as if the world was moved by it. Xiao Yin knocked his head heavily, with a look of great gratitude in his eyes. Thinking back to the previous bits and pieces, how could he not be moved? Xiao Yin slowly got up and said no more. The figure cut through the sky like a meteor-like light, swept away in the passage, and suddenly disappeared between the heavens and the earth. But behind him came a mighty sound of greetings. Congratulations to Emperor Yin in the vindictive continent. Xiao Yin is a legend, and his deeds will surely be passed down from generation to generation and through the ages. The blue beam of light is full of violent energy. Even a powerhouse like Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan, who are at the peak of fighting saints, can still feel the tyrannical energy of the beam of light thousands of miles away. If you go in, I'm afraid you will be instantly crushed by the violent energy in the beam of light. Crushed. Now, I am afraid that only Xiao Yin has such power to enter, and even Xiao Yin doesn't know what will happen when he enters. Emperor Yin, the strongest man in the vindictive mainland, is still afraid to be careless, which shows how tyrannical this pillar of light is. Xiao Yin stepped into the void. His figure directly stepped into the beam of light, and then the beam of light disappeared on this continent. As a person who has saved the vindictive continent, Xiao Yin has occupied a sacred position in the hearts of the powerful, and everyone can't help but worry about him. After all, it is an unknown space, and no one knows what will happen. On this vindictive continent, why is there no fighting emperor left behind? Could it be that with the passage of time, the ancient fighting emperor has also fallen with the corrosion of time? Or is it that they were all taken away from this world like Xiao Yan? This is a mystery. No one knows. Xiao Yan's figure appeared in a dark void space. In this passage space, there were great energy fluctuations and a kind of coercion that could move the duty capital. Suddenly, even the vindictive spirit in Xiao Yan's body became a little confused. Xiao Yan didn't dare to be careless, and hurriedly sat down cross-legged, urging the vindictive spirit in his body to resist. And a dark shadow sat cross-legged in the void. The energy of this channel was far beyond Xiao Yan's imagination, and Xiao Yan's figure began to become extremely distorted. Duty is already the supreme realm on the continent of vindictiveness, and now the vindictiveness in Xiao Yan's body will still be chaotic. It can be imagined how terrifying this energy is. It is enough to easily tear the Doshing powerhouse to pieces. There is no possibility of survival for non-duty. Xiao Yin sat cross-legged in this way, relying on the resistance of the strange fire. After several days of pranayama, Xiao Yin's breath was able to slowly stabilize in this space. I don't know how long it took before he slowly opened his eyes. Xiao Yin breathed a sigh of relief. This space is really extraordinary. After this period of resistance to pranayama, Xiao Yin actually felt a subtle improvement in his vindictiveness. This subtle improvement made him know a situation. That is, in this space, the fighting emperor will no longer be the peak powerhouse, and he will start a long and thorny journey. This passage looks boundless, as if there is no end, and all around the passage, like a world of stars, there are bright shining stars. This kind of environment can easily make people lose their minds. Of course, how could Xiao Yin, the state of mind of the strong fighting emperor and the power of the soul of the emperor realm, be disturbed? But Xiao Yin still knew the danger of this passage well, and did not dare to take it lightly. He spread his bone wings. Colorful, strange fires surrounded Xiao Yin, and his figure slowly flew in this space. There is only one star in this space. and the concept of time is completely lost. Xiaoyan didn't know how long he had been flying. With his current strength of fighting emperor, his flight speed was several times slower in this place, which surprised Xiaoyan. At the same time, Xiaoyan also realized that the more he flew forward, the stronger the aura of the emperor's source became, which also convinced Xiaoyan that there was an end to this space. In this way, Xiaoyan flew tirelessly. There is no end in sight of the space. There is no sound at all. All I can hear at any time is the sound of my own wings whistling. One word, quiet, scary quiet, really makes people feel like they are about to collapse. However, Xiaoyan, who had been flying for a long time, had become accustomed to this kind of silence. I don't know how long this flight lasted. Suddenly, Xiaoyan suddenly opened his eyes, and the figure hurriedly shot back, cursing secretly. Damn it, what is this thing? As soon as he finished scolding, Xiaoyan clearly heard the huge wind blowing on his face, and the quiet space suddenly became violent, and a creature with a shape of 100 meters came whistling. Xiaoyan had never seen this kind of creature before, and its huge body shape was chilling. What made Xiaoyan feel the most terrifying was that this unknown creature actually had a stronger aura than himself of Gundam Fighting Emperor. This is something Xiaoyan simply couldn't imagine. If this thing is placed on the vindictive continent, I am afraid that the entire continent will be destroyed by it. Although Xiaoyan felt a little oppressive above his breath, Xiaoyan didn't have any sense of fear. After stabilizing his figure, a trace of anger flashed between his eyebrows. The new duty, the wine and food are not bad at the moment. The rough voice of the unknown creature echoed in this quiet space. Oh, who is whose appetizer is not necessarily. Xiaoyan snorted coldly. He didn't know what kind of monster was in front of him. After being promoted to the Fighting Emperor, he hadn't fought for decades. But at this moment, the fighting cells all over his body seemed to be awakened. Xiaoyan above the sky looked at the behemoth without fear. His handprints changed, and suddenly, the surrounding strange fire turned the surrounding area into a billowing sea of fire, and then poured into Xiaoyan's body at an extremely fast speed. And after these billowing red flames poured into Xiaoyan's body also swelled rapidly under the influx of countless flames. And during the expansion, brilliant flames quickly roared out of Xiaoyan's pores, turning into fire dragons, hovering all over his body. Sure enough, he has some skills, and he deserves to be the only fighting emperor who reappears after 1,000 years. But it's still a bit short of fighting with this emperor. Seeing Xiaoyan, who was flying with brilliant flames all over his body, a look of surprise passed through the eyes of the huge creature. I like to see how much ability you have under your gorgeous appearance. The sneer fell, and the creature's huge body suddenly moved, carrying the surrounding stars, and its huge tail whizzed directly toward Xiaoyan. Suddenly, the entire space was faintly fluctuating. This kind of shock is extremely terrifying. I am afraid that the Soul Emperor is far behind. Humph, seeing the creature attacking head-on, Xiaoyan just let out a cold and did not avoid it. The same was a punch. At this time, Xiaoyan had changed into the body of a fighting emperor, and his body shape was extremely large, and the brilliant fire dragon that enveloped his